Okay, so I thought I'll go through the UI on the building and how they all work and what is the best ones to make money. So this is good if you're a beginner and you want to make as much money as possible, but also understand what each building does. The first one is a logging camp. Now, logging camp is used to get timber from the trees. This is very important. This is something you want to build as soon as possible as well, because if you look at everything as a construction cost, you can see, look, this requires one timber, this requires two, this requires two, this requires two. And most things require, even if you look at houses and everything else, everything basically requires timber. So this logging camp is very, very important. You want to get this as soon as you can, ideally. That way, if any raiders come to your camp or anything, at least you can rebuild back up. Because there's been some plays where this has been destroyed and I've got no timber left and I'm basically screwed. In regards to timber, you do need an ox to move it, but we'll get into that later on. And the good thing about these logging camps is you want to place them ideally next to the woodlands. Don't put them, for example, in an area over here too close, because you can see if I press it, you can see here, look, the animals migrated. So be very careful. You don't want to, because if you build it here, for example, they're going to get wood from this area and then the animals are going to migrate, which give you a food source. So you got to be very, very careful about how you structure yours up. And you don't want to put it too far away, because then villagers have to move all the way from far away from where they live all the way to get wood. So if you just press tab, you can see all the buildings, and I would probably say it's good to put it nearby but not too far away. So you can see, for example, I've got Woodcutter's Lodge here, and I used to have a logging camp, but I removed it. So just because it's the trees. Then you do have the Woodcutter's Lodge. Similarly, this also cuts down trees so you can provide firewood. This will keep your village warm and provide it with fuel. Again, with this, you want to put it next to trees, similar to the logging camp. And eventually, this also is used to fuel buildings. So let's say, for example, you've got a building. Let's say here I got, as you can see, you've got some burgish plots here. This is houses. And some of them, for example, you might decide to put, for example, a Fletcher shop. Now, a Fletcher shop, as you can see, they need to be refueled. So your woodcutter's lodge is very, very important. Then you have a saw pit. A saw pit should be ideally built next to, let's say, for example, I was to build this, I'll do something like this, and I'll do a saw pit opposite, because they transfer the timber to the saw pit, and the saw pit makes planks. Planks are important for structures, for products like shields, and also for like churches and buildings and stuff like that. So you want to build it next to your logging camp. The forester's hut basically is just a place where they plant trees. So what you could do in theory, for example, is you could have a forester's hut, for example, and you can build that, and that will then, the people in the forest hut will start planting trees, and then you can technically have an infinite supply of trees. So while you cut them down with both the logging camp and the woodcutter's lodge, you'll have the trees to rebuild them. Then you have a charcoal kiln. Now this is actually very interesting. This basically converts one firewood into two charcoal, basically making fuel efficient. So you'd ideally want to build it next to the woodcutters. So you can see, for example, like here, as you can see, I've got two foresters. That's making these trees regrow. So you can see, look, if I look at the people here, you can see they're planting the trees, as you can see. And then these guys are cutting it down. Normally, I would say two charcoal can be supplied by one woodcutter's lodge, fully supplied, with a fully man, should I say. So that is a very, very good one. This you can't build it straight away. You got to buy it through the tree, which is a development. But this is very good. Charcoal is a very good money maker. I would say, if let's say I have some decent resources. I got the mining, the deep mine, which is basically infinite amount of iron ore, iron bars, and I can make weapons. That's the best way of making money. But let's say, for example, we're in another land. Let's say, for example, we're over here. That's got a stone deposit. Now, stone deposits are not mines, so you can't use the deep mine development. Let's say you're in this area here and you start in this area. You could obviously re-roll the dice, start a new game. But let's say you don't want to. The stone what you can very simply do is you can just get the charcoal one here, and then you can sell the charcoal. And charcoal is a really good way of making money, because you can literally, if I go to a trading post here, you can see if I do want to sell charcoal, which would be under crafting materials, you can see I'm selling for 5 each. So it's actually very profitable, and you basically have infinite supply of trees if you build a forester's hut. And then you have the woodcutter's lodge that cuts them down and then gives them, and they turn them into charcoal. So that's a very good one. Hunting camp, very simple, provides hides and meat. You want to build this near this area here, where the wild animals are. I would say try to, wherever the wild animals are, try to build the hunting camp nearby. That way they can go kill the wild animals and then come back. Then you have the forager hut, which is the same thing but with berries. So for example, like here, you build it, for example, like here, if you have a structure here, a town here, and they could just walk to the berry deposit. Very, very simple. Roads are just simply basically if a road, think of it this way, you could define where the players walk, and the fast they walk fast on a road. This is press R and Alt R, you can remove the road. There's one road which is called the King's Road, you cannot remove. Now what I recommend is, in the future, put a trading post off the King's Road. This is an old save that I have, but the reason why I have this save is because a lot of horses, they come through and sometimes they get stuck, so that's why I funneled it like that. But anyway, then we have mining. So you have a stonecutter camp. Pretty simple, it just gathers stones. So if you've got like an area like here, you just literally build it nearby and it picks up the stone. Then you have the mining pit. So the mining pits have to go over a mine. So you can see example like here, you can see that's the mining pit. So I could build it on top over it and that will pick it up. If you want to be very efficient, you can actually build 4 of these around for like double mining. They just give you iron ore. Very, very simple as that. Granary is a place that holds all the food, so ideally you would want a granary to be near your food supplies, and also in between your villages. So let's say your houses are here, you'd want your granary, for example, to be here, and then your hunting station, just as an example, to be here. So then people, they walk like this. So like here, they walk from the hunting place, they go to they put stuff in a hunting camp, that gets transported to the granary, the storehouse, and then that then gets transported to the market, and then to all the houses here as well. Storehouse is the same but for items. I normally put some storehouses next to like for example mining, so then all the people can just go literally from the deep mine into the storehouse. If there's a storehouse in the city, they got to walk all the way into the city and then deposit the items, you see. So I like to build those storehouses nearby. Pack station is bartering. You build this and then you can trade with other settlements that you own. So let's say I conquered this place as well. I can then transfer items, like I can give, I don't know, iron ore in exchange for meat or something like that. The hitching post is very important because you need ox. Ox basically speeds up logistics and moves timber. So when you first start a new place, logging camp, and I would say an ox, build another ox is very, very, very important to move stuff around. Now, in residential, these are houses. This is a well, you got to build it over the water. This is a marketplace, it needs to be built next to houses. Firewood cart and food cart is actually development, but it just gives you passive income. You unlock it. Tavern is used for ale, so it's like a pub. That's where all. So you want to build it next to your residence. Then you have a church. I have here a nice, beautiful church here. Put it in the middle of your city. I put that kind of bit on top just for artistic reasons per se, but they kind of walk through this road where this looks like flax. But you want to build this like in a center, I would say, because villagers need to go. They need to go pray. And they need to get water. So don't build your water supply like so far away. You want to build your water supply like close by, like ideally here. But for aesthetic purposes, I just put it a bit further away. But yeah. Then you have a corpse pit. Once you have an army and they fight, people are gonna die. You need a corpse pit so people can just basically cremate the bodies or whatever they do. And this improves your approval rating, because you can see, look, unburied bodies was a previous issue. So you can build this anywhere. It doesn't need to be next to your town. You just man it, and then you can get rid of the corpses, and then you can have a person in the church technically, and then they can do the graveyards or the praying or whatever. Then the farming, so field. This defines the field structure. Now you got to look at this Emma fertility. This, as you can see, this is a terrible area, but for example, this area is very rich in nutrients in the ground. So that's why I didn't concentrate on farming so much on this one. I'd rather get as much money as I can and then export. So the field basically is just a field that you can just build wherever you want. For example, I built one here, and you can see, look, you can see flax and you can see barley, and you can see here, barley is used to make malt, which is used to make ale. Flax is used to make linen, I believe. Not linen, something like that. I forgot what it's called. Wool is for linen. I think it's thread or something like that. I can't remember. String, something like that. And then, as you can see, I've only got one piece of plot. So if you have a green area, technically speaking, you'd want to build in this green area. Then you have a pasture base, a farmhouse, should I say? Farmhouse, basically, you just put like a road here. Farmhouse, basically people in the farmhouse, they go and then they kind of with the field, you know, they harvest it, stuff like that. So it's very, very important to put the farmhouse at least in the middle of all your farm areas, or next to the farm areas if you've got a small section here. Then we got we'll go to the windmill next. You want 100% efficiency, ideally as close as possible. And what I would say is, you want, for example, in theory, let's just say this is 100% efficiency. You'd want, for example, the communal oven to be nearby, because then people will go from the farmhouse, they'll collect the wheat, and then they'll turn it into grain. Then the grain will turn into flour at the windmill, and then the oven will turn the flour into bread. So you need these three all nearby for peak efficiency. So you can see, look here, you can get wheat, and that's turned into grain, and then grain is turned into flour with a windmill, and have better efficiency, whilst that will turn into flour, and then flour turns into bread. Then you have a pasture. You can put this anywhere you want, doesn't really make a difference. You have the pasture, and then you have the sheep farm, so you can put sheep here. See, like here, let's just say, for example, like that, you can put that, and you can put, I think I'm gonna build it, like you can put a sheep farm here. And basically you can have like sheep here, and then just to give you a supply of wool. And then that's pretty much it for that. Now, this is where the interesting thing comes in. Bloomeries turn iron ore into iron slabs. So you'd want, for example, a bloomery next to your deep mine, so they can mine, go straight to the bloomery, and then put it in a storehouse. Does that make sense? So this is for efficiency. Smithy is basically the same. It turns iron slabs into tools. Right now, as it stands, tools are basically useless. But in the future, they would be more useful for it. Clay turns clay tiles. So what you'd do is, if you have a clay deposit, first of all, you'd build that mine to collect clay, the mining pit. And similar to the iron pit, you do for example, like here, you put there, and then what you do is you go back, and then you put a clay furnace next to it, and then a storehouse. This is for peak efficiency. I used to put like as you can see here in the town, I have like all the workshops in the specific area. I did this for aesthetic purposes only, but you can see, can you imagine? They need charcoal and fuel for reserves. They have to walk all the way here to get fuel, to get wood, and then they need to then get clay, which we don't have, but let's get a clay, but they got to walk. But you can see, for example, like here, if I put one player in here, and I'm just going to advanced, turn these all off, and I want to say to them, you're only going to collect iron ore and iron slabs, and I'm just going to put charcoal and wood there as well, just for fuel. Then you'll see in a second. So what I mean by efficiency. Clay tiles are very good. If you've got a clay deposit with a deep mine, it's very, very good for money. Roofing. Clay tiles are a very good way of making money. Iron ore is a good way, and iron slabs. But if you convert them into like swords, which I'll show you how to in a second, you make even more money. Malt basically turns barley, which you can farm into malt. And this needs to be next to a tavern. So let's say, for example, I got a malt house, for example, like here, and let me just demolish it. Let's just say, for example, like here, I create an off-road, right? Let's say this would be next to it because everyone's going to go in a city, right? So what I'll do is, a town, should I say? I'll have a malt house, for example, here. And then if you skip to this section earlier that I mentioned to you, so you got, these are all different sections, by the way. You go to the tavern because people will go from the malt house to the tavern to provide the ale. And then the people will go from the villager, from the houses to the ale. And as you can see, this is what I meant by efficiency. Look, so you can see, look, if I just add some people in here, you can see, look, the people in here, they're going all around. This is for houses, and this is where they live. Okay, so this is just their break. But what they should do, basically, if I could figure this correctly, is if you have a bloomery here, the iron ore goes straight into the bloomery, and then it will go into the storehouse. So like this is a good way, and you can see, for example, like here you can investigate. Okay, where's this person going? And you'd be like, oh, are they going to this storehouse? Because sometimes the storehouses, they mess up. So you could follow a player saying, okay, where are they going? And you can see he's gone straight into the storehouse. So what we're going to do is we're going to say, no, I don't want you to collect iron ore, and I don't want you to take iron slabs. So now if I go back, you can see here when they collect it that they're now going to go straight to the bloomery. You see that? See people going to the bloomery? Then once you have the iron slabs, they're going to take the iron slabs to the storehouse, and then they can then take it to the trade post, whatever. Got a bit off topic, but that's for efficiency. Tannery, you want to put it next to your hunting, your hunter's lodge, because then hunting camp will go straight to the tannery. Quick tip, that's a very quick way to upgrade your settlement, because you need, for level 1, 2, should I say, you need the clothing supply. Weaver's Workshop turns wool into yarn and flax into linen. So you can put this, if you want to, next to your pasture. And Dyer's Workshop, you put it next to your the forest that collects the berries. So if you've got a berry collection, you'll have a forest that collects the berries, and then you'll have that nearby. Okay, then we go to trade. So trading post, you want to leave it as close to this as possible, because people are going to come from here, and they're going to, from outside your city, and then they're going to come here and drop off the stuff. Now, I've got one over here, trading post. See that? Now, the thing is, you don't want this too far. What I would say is, let's say your town is here. Your trading post should be in between your town, because technically they need to go to the storehouses. So let's say, I don't know, you need to sell coal or iron slabs. They got to go from here to here, and then eventually the person will come to buy it. So if you want real efficiency, maybe put some storehouses next to this and build this in the middle. So have the town here and have the actual trading post, the trading post over here, have it in between. So that would say that's for like peak efficiency. Livestock trading post basically is like this, and you can buy sheep here. So horses, mules are used to transport from your different towns, oxen for like timber, and horses for trade, and sheep gives you wool and everything like that. But no food. You have admin, and you have a settlers camp. So if you take over a new place, you can basically put this down. Like let's say you conquer a new region or you claim it, you put this down, and that's how you build your city in that new region. Then you have the manor, which is basically the manor lord's house. So I don't even know where I've got it here. Shit, I think it's somewhere here. Oh, here's the manor. So as you can see, I'm just growing this area up. But like the manor, this is where you can hire retinue. These are men. And these are retinue, these are men, and then basically you can build like these structures, and this is where you can collect tax. So you can see here I can collect taxes. I can do land tax, that will help me create my better treasury, and I can do tithe, which is donating to the churches, and that will improve my influence, which I can use to conquer lands. And then these are cosmetic, and that is basically it, the overview, as much as possible in this short amount of time. I don't want to talk about it too much, but it's all about efficiency, you know. But that's how things work. In terms of what makes the most money, you want to go to your burgish plot, and I think, where is it? I think it's here, blacksmith. Blacksmith, you want to find an iron ore supply ideally, and you want to make sidearms and sidearms, spears, and pole arms. These are actually worth the most amount of money, because you can see, for example, like here, if I go here to the trading post, go to trade. You can see if I go trade here, you can see that look how 8 gold pieces each, or 8 coins. So you can basically sell these. You see that? So you can sell. So I can sell pole arms and whatever. So that's what I recommend. So if you've got, for example, a deep mine, I'll definitely go for the deep mine. That would be pretty much it. If you've got a clay deep mine, I would say do roof tiles. Roof tiles are a very good way of making money. So you've got a mining pit, and you get the roof tiles, clay tiles, should I say. They're a very good way of making like a very good amount of money. If you haven't got that, and you haven't got either of them, which is very unfortunate, and you got like a limited supply and no deep mine, then I would say your best option is going straight down here and get charcoal burning, because charcoal also goes for a lot of money. So you can basically go here and you can sell charcoal 5 each. So you can see that I can make at least an infinite amount of money, because I can have a foresters that builds the trees back. Woodcutters cuts down the logs, and logs turns it into coal, and then coal goes and sells it. So that's a very good way. Let's say, for example, you've also got a lot of trees as well. You could go and you could go to the blacksmith. You can also, you need planks for the saw pit. Armors is a really good way. Like if you can make helmets or mail armor, that's even better, but you have to go all the way down this territory here. And then cobblers is actually a very good way. So if you want to make good money with the cobblers, you can make shoes, and you just need leather for that. So you just have, for example, like a tannery, hunting camp, and every single place has wild animals. You can see like here. And then you can even, if you want to, with your burgage plots, you can actually, in theory, build a little bit of a pen, like at the back here, and you can change it to like have like a tannery at the back. So you can get some tannery. And cobblers is a good way of making money. If you've got the hunting, the wild animals rich deposit is a very, very good way of making money. You could just sell the shoes. And then the other one is the Fletcher, which I don't even think I've got here, but the Fletcher is very, very good. So what you can do is here, none of these have level 2, but what you could do, for example, is do a Fletchery. And the Fletchery is really, really good, because let me just see if I've got a building that's got a garden here. That's cobblers. Okay, I haven't got one, but you can do, for example, here, you can build a Fletchers. You can build a Fletchers. I'm just trying to find a house, but I can't find one. But anyway, you can build a Fletchers, and you can make bows, and you need planks to make bows. So what you can do is you would build, for example, a logging camp. They will collect the trees, turn to timber. Then a saw pit will turn it into planks, and then the house, the burgage plot level 2, will turn that into bows. And bows are actually quite lucrative as well, so you can sell. Here you can see war bows, they export for 5. So all the weaponry is a very good way of making money. If you haven't got that, you can make shoes. Shoes are a very good way. You can see they sell for 8 each as well. If you have the ability to make ale, which you got good fertility in land, that's a good way of making money as well. And then charcoal is probably one of the best. But that is just a quick tip. Hope you enjoyed this video. Thank you very much for watching. Don't forget to subscribe for more content like this and more quick guides. I hope this gave you everything that you need to know, because when I started the game, I saw lots of tutorials and they gave me the basics, but not enough showing me how to make money or how efficiency works. So thanks for watching, and of course, I'll catch you next time.